Happy New Year and welcome to episode 330 of Pub Theology Live, a weekly conversation on life and faith over a craft brewed pint, a fine wine, or whatever happens to be in your glass. On today's episode, the Reverend Shannon Weston, Ogun Holder, and yours truly, Brian Burkhoff, address and engage what's happening through a theological lens with a good brew in hand.
It's a new year, but same old pint glasses. We still have five pint glasses. So if you want your very own Pub Theology pint glass to enjoy your brew, please head over to patreon.com/ptlive for a few dollars a month. You're helping support the show. We get you a pint glass, free shipping, and you also get access to some extra banter before and after the show. Brian and Shannon will wax poetic about football. If you're a football person, we did some vacation recap in our pre-show today. And yeah, so we're always grateful for our current patrons, and you can become one of them too. Patreon.com/PTLive.
Today, we're going to discuss the new year, epiphany, and civil disobedience. So we are recording early. Thank you, gentlemen, for accommodating my schedule. Ogun, it is not early. What time is it there?
It is almost 3:30 p.m.
All right, 3:30.
Which is when I'm drinking beer.
Which is happy hour. So you're drinking beer today.
I'm drinking beer. Sagres, Sol and Mar, Sun, and Sea. I don't know what this is going to taste like, but it is made with Portuguese sea salt. I have never seen a beer promote the kind of salt that they put into it.
Intrigued.
I am intrigued.
I have seen sea salt beer like once I think it's a New England beer. But anyway, well, I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. I'll let you know how it goes. What are you drinking, Brian?
Yeah, well, as Shannon said, it's not happy hour where we are, so I'm drinking my second cup of coffee of the day, just a morning roast and morning blend, and happy to have it. Shannon?
Nice.
I am drinking, we are still, sorry, Boo Starbucks for not unionizing your workers, but I do have Starbucks Holiday Blend that is going through because the Holiday Blend is so good. But I am, and I've been waiting, is my third cup of the day, which means I can have a little sweeter cup because I need bitter in the morning, and then I soften as the day goes on. Anyway, so I'm putting vanilla spice flavored eggnog in my coffee.
Ooh.
And let me tell you, it is delicious.
It
is absolutely delicious.
So to be clear, what time is it where you guys are at?
10:30.
10:30. And we're on second and third cup of coffees writing. Okay.
Oh, the first was just to wake, like mandatory to even shift in the bed.
I'm pleased to report that this beer is crisp, it is light, it is nice, and it doesn't taste salty at all, despite them plugging it's got Portuguese sea salt.
It's like when you put salt in baked goods, it brings out the sweetness of the hops.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It sounds convincing. I'm inclined to believe you.
Also, Derek brought me my this might be whiskey mug, which was really inconvenient for my morning client when I had to do it on the dark, because I was like, oh, can't show that mug on Zoom. But for you guys, there's not whiskey in it.
You could. You'd just be modeling self-care.
I didn't want to give the wrong impression.
But it also implies that it might not be whiskey. So
it might be. It might not be.
It might not be.
It might not be. There is a possibility. And a week ago, there was a definite possibility. But today, not so much.
Yes.
Not so much.
So it is a new year. And the Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca said, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Also sounds like a lyric from Closing Time. But
I was going to say, hold on.
So are you starting something new in this new year? And is there anything you're letting go of or just happy to leave in 2025?
So I don't do resolutions. As a spiritual teacher, coach, pastor, I barely do intentions as it is. I like chuck all of that sort of deal because between resolutions, intentions, and even affirmations to some extent, it sets you up with expectations and attachments. And which often then sets you up for disappointment and suffering. So, not doing any of that. What I'm doing instead is looking back at last year, the shit show that it was, and noticing that even in the midst of the shit show, there were moments of joy, there were moments of bliss, there were moments of pleasure, there were moments of ecstasy. They may have been fleeting, whatever they were, they happened. And I'm just going to do more of those. Like, what were the circumstances that led to those? And let's see if we can just recreate them. Not reinventing the wheel this year, just more of what worked last year.
There you go.
That's my plan.
There you go. Shannon?
I'm stuck on the fact that closing time stole this from like an ancient philosopher, but
I
whatever.
know.
Like
I know.
I can't get
saw
past
it. And
this.
I saw it and I was like, wait, is that what?
And they didn't give credit.
And they didn't give credit. I mean, maybe they did in their liner notes because we don't have liner notes anymore.
Right.
No, is there anything? I mean, like, so it's funny. Like we asked the kids, just in dinner conversation, like, "Are you making any resolutions?" And they were all like, which I'm like, "Yeah, right on." But also, I realized that anything we have such a year of change coming, or such a year of like big events coming.
Right.
That I realized that I was like, okay, my my resolution slash intention is to do what we're planning to do, like to get it done, to show up, to be, so I don't know if I've like, so a lot of my beginning of the year is preparation. So I'm hiking the Grand Canyon with the boys and my dad in April, in the end of March and April. And so like I have to prepare physically for that, more than I already work out. I have to do I have to climb stairs like with a pack on, and I really don't want to do that, but whatever. Um,
You have to learn to speak donkey.
exactly. The donkey takes 30 pounds and then you carry like 20, 25. And then in May, our oldest graduates from high school, and we've got college prep and all that to do. And then in June, we move. And after that, I have no idea what happens because I just can't think beyond
Well,
moving.
that's like the other side of the abyss that you can't see from here,
I
right?
can't see from here.
Yeah.
I can't imagine yet. I can't whatever. Um, like there might be more uphill climb about that than I care to admit right now. Just all kinds of stuff. So, one of the things that I noticed, this is not a letting go of 2025, is that I mean, I'm happy to let go of just about everything that happened in 2025 and wish it would actually be let go, mostly the political climate.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that it has done for me is that it made me way more focused on like present and what's right in front of me. Um, and the only other times I've been able to do that has been when I'm in absolute crisis. And I'm not in crisis. It's just very like I'm not worried as much. I'm able to pull myself back, right? From
Yeah.
the,
I know
oh
what
my
you
God,
mean.
I'm panicking about 6 months.
Mhm.
So that's kind of a thing I want to keep going at, is all I'm trying to say. Um, so it's not really there are goals, but it's not like Ogun said, it's not necessarily a setup for failure. It's like, no, these things are happening, so you better prepare. You better get ready for it.
Yeah, it's leaning into what is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Good.
like that better, to be honest.
Right. Excellent.
What about you, Brian? Are you
Yeah, no,
what did
no.
you middle finger for 2025?
Oh, well, yeah, same. I mean, same as you, like just so sick of it all. And of course, 2 days into this year, we're invading another country, but we'll get into that a little later. But yeah, ready to let go of some of that nonsense, and with you trying to not let the nonsense live in my body,
Yeah.
where I'm just consuming it. I'm in perpetual outrage mode. It's just not a healthy way to live mentally, physically, and otherwise. And so, yes, trying to be present, trying to do the things that bring me joy, while yes, not being ignorant of what's happening, and yes, trying to be a voice and embodiment of justice, but like just not leaning into the everything is setting me off or triggering me, because that's just, you can't, it's not sustainable. So for this year, trying a dry-ish January, less alcohol, but a little THC to take the edge off. So far, so good-ish. Um, and my basketball teams are doing well. Michigan and Detroit are both looking really good, so I'm happy for maybe a good sports spring.
I will sorry, Ogan, I'll do one football thing in the show. I am looking forward to a playoff season that I can just enjoy football and am not committed to a team. Also, I've decided to root for the Seahawks, so go Seahawks.
There you go. There you go. I can get on board with that. I can get on board with
Never apologize for your football fanaticism.
that.
Because when basketball playoff time comes,
I'm
I'll,
here
I'll be
for it.
on. I'll
You
be
get
on
it.
it.
I will
I'll be
glaze
on it.
over and it's fine. Just keep going.
Exactly.
All right, First Peter 3:12 says, "For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and the Lord's ears are attentive to their prayer, but the face of the Lord is against those who do evil." I really like this, yet given what this text says, how do you explain the preponderance of seemingly evil people who thrive without repercussions?
Isn't there also some Bible verse that the rain falls on both the good and the evil? Like
Yes, I think
it,
Jesus said it.
he might have. He might have. He said a few things. So
Was it written in red? Because if it was written in red,
if
It
it's written
was
red, it's for real.
in King James
He,
English.
he for real said it. Uh, I think we what is this the theodicy question? Why do good
It
things
is
happen
the
to
problem of
bad
evil.
people, right? But I think if you're still approaching it from the point of view that God is the one making things happen to people and making things happen in the world, then yes, this is the question you ask.
Then you do have
So
that problem.
then you do have that problem. But if and again, yes, you have the option not to believe that. I know some people struggle with that, but you have the option not to believe that. And if you don't believe that, then your answer is that yes, they are greedy, evil people who do things and they have the resources to most of the time escape justice and get around justice. Again, we'll get to it later, but current president,
Yeah.
but
you know,
what
Prime example.
and
I mean,
as you mentioned, maybe in the pre-show, Shannon, it is the anniversary January 6th,
it
right?
is
It
We
today.
we had a we had an attempted coup, right?
They all
And
got pardoned.
yeah, and he's president again.
And he got reelected.
Compared to Brazil, where the dude's about to go to jail
Yeah, and the
for the same
insurrectionists
thing.
won.
Yeah, exactly. So
Well,
yeah,
so and that is actually my point. Like, what what are they're not having repercussions from our society, from our world, from this culture that we've built, from like this, they're two different things, right? So if the rich and the greedy, which like we have more billionaires than we've ever had before, and et cetera, and they're not paying their workers and their profits are astronomical. Like that's not the Lord's favor or what, however you want to put that. So saying that God is blessing them for that versus the world is blessing them for that, like the capitalistic society that we built, is those are two different things.
Yeah.
Um, and even though Ogun and I have different beliefs about the like how God is manifest or not in the world, like what I do like God's not a puppeteer, right? So like
Right.
that's not how I view God either. So God isn't coming down and favoring people or not favoring people in this way. And even in this quote, like even in this Bible verse, attentive to their prayers, like it also, I mean, there's a little bit of implication that like God isn't attentive to those who are doing evil prayers, but I wouldn't go that far. And I would need to whip out my Bible and look
Yeah,
at the
that is an
context.
interesting, right? That the face of the Lord is not only not listening, but is against.
Is against. And so and so what I if I just had this verse, given the context of what I understand about scripture, what I would read into that is it's that God isn't um like their priorities are in the wrong place. So the right, the value of which you are functioning out of is not one that I am listening to. Um, so I'm not
Yeah,
going to
and they're
give
not
you what
aligning
you
they're not aligning themselves with the heart of God.
right. So whatever you're praying for, I'm not going to give you what you're praying for. I'm going to give you what you need, is where I would argue that, right? So versus those who are their values and hearts are more aligned with God, I'm going to be attentive to what you're asking for. Now this gets really problematic again when we talk about like cancer and health issues and blah blah blah, right? Like all this stuff, but you
And how
understand.
our prayers answered,
And
etc.
how our prayers. And again, what is attentive? Like what is that?
Yeah.
Anyway, again, God's not a puppeteer where like, oh, I'm attentive to your prayer, therefore
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
not the vending machine attentive.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. Yeah, I would agree with both of you in the sense of not believing in a hands-on uh, view of God, and sort of like I like to think of it as sort of the God slash the universe leans toward justice, and those who are going against that are out of alignment, let's say, with that. But the question is, will it matter? Are there ever repercussions? Is there ever justice in the end? And that's a struggle that I don't have an
So,
answer to.
so I'm hearkening to that saying, more money, more problems. I've met some pretty rich people, and none of them seem entirely happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Like
Mm-hmm.
that what where your mindset and also where your conscience needs to be, knowing the world works the way it works, for you to have that level of prosperity and money in the bank. You know that there are certain evils you just have to ignore when you go to sleep at night,
Right.
right? You know you have to ignore the exploitation of people and in order to sleep at night. And some of them struggle with that, some of them don't. Um, so um, I sometimes, as a person who has from time to time, most of the time, but from time to time, struggled with income and money, and go like, huh, my life, I know money can't buy you happiness, but it sure as hell makes your life easier. I
Right.
would love some more. I would love a lot more, right? And do I want the level of riches that the billionaires have? No,
Right.
because I know what it means, who it means I would need to be in this day and age in order to become that. So when we talk about repercussions, my thing is like, what are their personal repercussions? What is their personal situation? How are they sleeping at night? Where's their level of, sure, I can hop on a jet and go anywhere, anytime, and do anything I want to, buy anything, and money's not a problem, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But am I also the kind of person who have I hurt to get here? Who's no longer in my orbit? What love have I lost? Is there love in my life? Like, there's so many other defining characteristics of what makes you human and humane that I really, really question if billionaires exist. If billionaires can identify with that. And yes, we have our Mackenzie Scotts out there, former, ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, who is, I don't know if she's still a billionaire, but multimillionaire
If
many
you're
times
listening,
over.
Mackenzie, we'll do a live
Yeah.
show, where you name the
you
place and the
know,
time.
who is just give.
She funded a something, an organization I work with. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
she's
that's a
doing
good
great work,
example.
and she's doing great work on like what I would consider to be they're not micro loans, but at that local level in a way that I haven't seen anybody else do, you
Yeah.
know,
Giving away money left, right, and center. And
as
for
you
good
should.
and for
Yep.
good causes. You got it. You give it away. There's no. So So there are some folks like that. They don't seem to be the majority of them,
No,
though.
they don't.
You
Do you
know,
all watch Loot on Apple
I
TV
Oh,
with
I
is it
watched
good?
I watched the first season.
it is good.
I struggled with it. The comedy is a little like, but I love the
Well, it's
premise.
this concept, right? Like she
Yes,
divorces. She divorces and she's like, how do I like I'm a billionaire, how do I give away all my money? You know,
Sure.
and she's trying
yes,
to convince other billionaires to give away all their money. But
yes.
it's yeah, I mean, and actually part of it is like when you're that rich, you can't give away all your money because you're making so much money off of your money that
Oh,
you
Yeah,
literally can't give it away.
I mean, what a struggle.
Exactly. But
right.
Ogun, to your point, I'm so sorry. I'm the one bringing in all the TV now because I've spent 3 weeks on the couch. But like, I haven't seen it, but there's that movie with Seth Rogen and Keanu Reeves, and it's in the trailer where Keanu Reeves is an angel and he's
Oh,
like,
yes, yes.
and he says something like, um, he asked for money, and I told him money isn't going to solve his problems, but it actually solved a lot of his problems. And
Yes,
I was like,
yes.
yes, like there is a certain, and this is what we're talking about, right? And there's statistics on this, you can look it up. There's a certain level of money, there's certain range where
Hmm.
money does buy happiness, right? The security, the lack, like the ability to take a vacation, to travel, to there is a certain level of income that actually
Well, yeah,
makes
to take care of those baseline
I
human needs on the pyramid
I
of
think it
exactly.
I
whatever.
think it tops out at 400 grand a year. I think that's the number.
Yeah, it
Like
used to be like 250 and now it's
yeah, it's
I
like
because
mean, I'm
400 grand a
I'm
year.
willing to try out that 400
I'm willing to try out
level.
400. I'm willing to try out 250.
I was gonna
Don't get me
say
like
250 is good too.
I'll be on the low scale of it. Like I'm
Exactly.
willing to give it a go. But but I also like I have friends that between the two of them probably do make 250 and the
Sure.
way that they are able to do things in their families, the way that they're able to raise their kids, the way that they're able to save for retirement, name it.
Right.
And it's very different than the concerns that and I'm not saying they're still not worried about retirement, they're still not worried about money. It's just a very different worry.
Yeah.
Correct.
And and this
Yeah.
is that anyway, the last thing I'll say on this is like the human condition means that there is no complete satisfaction in life. There is no immortality, right? There's always something. There's always an existential crisis, no matter how much money you have or not. Yes, basic human needs need to be, but there is an amount of money that you can escape that.
Yeah, you can't unlock like pure bliss all the time unless, well, you just can't.
You just can't. You can't.
Well, I mean, if you spend enough money on gummies, just saying.
I
But
was
even
gonna
that
say,
over
yeah,
time,
there might
right?
be a lot of drugs involved, but I think that will have other repercussions.
Well, I think there's also research on that too.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, I'm going to keep us moving.
All right.
Uh, Serene Jones, who I believe was formerly and or current president of Union Theological Seminary, said civil disobedience lies at the heart of the Epiphany story. And we are recording this as noted on January 6th, also Epiphany. The Magi receive an unjust order from a vindictive tyrant, she says, and instead they defy him. May we do likewise. So I kind of like that framing of that story in Matthew 2, um, of civil
Mhm.
disobedience because they are given this order from the the current leadership, King Herod, come, go see the child, then come back. Like, what he's got power, they're foreigners, they don't have that kind of power, and yet they disobey. And do you think churches and pastors should frame it this way? Do you like that? And yeah, take it from there.
I love and again think it's right because Herod's even like the comment from Herod is come back to me and tell me where I can find the child so that I may go and pay him homage.
Yeah.
And it is like what I have loved about that, and again, I know I'm reading into it, but you can just feel the sleaze off of that comment.
100%.
Like you can just feel this like ick
You can read
from
that in a voice of a certain current president and it just works.
exactly. Like, and actually, I think it's way more subtle than our current president would be,
Well,
right? I think our
fair.
current president would be, you better come back and tell me where he is so I can kill him. Like,
Right.
like we invaded Venezuela for the oil. I'm saying the quiet parts out loud, friend.
Exactly.
But like, but you could just and that's what I've always not loved about the story. Obviously, I don't like that part of the story, but like what I like these this is the place where these are wise men, right? This is the one where they've earned like these magi have earned their title
Yeah.
because they've gone, nope, like not gonna happen, man.
It's such
So
a
I
rich
anyway,
text on so many levels.
yep. And and I just and then they went home by another way because
Exactly.
Herod could go after him, like if because you knew how we got here. So, anyway, I think it's a beautiful
And
text.
I
And
love
yes,
that it's usually the first Sunday of the new year, and the going by another road just sort of invites, it just sort of leads into what you want to talk about at the beginning of a year.
yeah, and the like how we are, I mean, we just talked about this, like as much as we want to leave behind a year, we are forever changed by it. Like this year changed. I mean, it didn't necessarily change the way I view it. It made me go even deeper into how do we do this when everything is against us, How do we live this life? How do we function? How do I literally care for the people around me? Because that's all I can actually do,
Did you,
kind of thing.
you're saying just just the fact that it's a change in the calendar does that?
I think so. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the time to reflect. I also think the way that um I think this is bred in us since in our schooling. Like there's usually some sort of break at the end of the year for us. So it isn't just a page in the count. Now, not everybody gets to do this, and I want to acknowledge that, right? Some people have to work straight through. But I think there is a still this culture of nobody really does anything the week between Christmas and New Year's. Like there's that attitude,
Yes.
right? And so I think it isn't just a time to reflect, but it's a time to pause, which liturgically is really funny because Advent is the time to do that. And then we're like, it's Christmas. And then we pause. But anyway, that's a
Yeah.
whole nother
Yeah.
discussion. But anyway, I do think that road by another way um, is a time to say, like, okay, you're changed by this experience of the turning of the calendar, just mentally trying to write the 26 versus the 25, that challenge that we have every year. But
I
Yes.
anyway.
mean, it honestly feels, especially with the Venezuela thing, it honestly feels like we have not entered a new year. We've just like kept on moving. Like nothing's changed. It's just more of the same sort of
I
deal.
love the New
And
Year's Eve clips of the president. And they're like, what do you want in this new year? He's like, peace on earth.
Peace on
And then it's
earth.
like 2 days later, bombs Venezuela.
right,
Well,
right.
but it's and to your point, Ogun, I can argue
Uh,
the other thing of like time, like this is where time really is a construct and it's just a number
yeah,
and it doesn't mean anything. It's just another day, you know.
yeah. I mean, Pax Romana was, sure, the everywhere in the Roman Empire was
Right.
peaceful by force of,
Dictatorship.
dictatorship, right? And tyranny and all the things. But the other reason I also really love this verse is civil disobedience, the magic. That was the whole, part of Jesus's ministry, the civil rights movement. Like we can't to it's a very judo kind of move, right? We can't just meet the forces of tyranny and darkness with equal force. That's
Right.
not gonna work. So what option do we have?
Right.
And the option we have as the majority, because there are always going to be more of us, is yes, civil disobedience. And we're seeing that with what's his name? Mark Kelly, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who is basically reminding folks in the military, you can disobey a direct order if it goes against the law, if it
Right.
goes against the Constitution,
Yeah.
and he's being punished for it. interesting that also same thing, or new Secretary of War slash Defense Pete Hegseth said a few years ago. He said the same thing a few years ago as well. Now
Right.
he's the one doling out the punishment for it,
Right.
but that's the tool we have in our toolbox. We got voting, we got civil disobedience. We're not going to buy from this corporation, and we have to remember that we are not powerless in the face of billionaires who basically elect leaders and write laws. It can feel like we have no power, but we
Mhm.
have the power. And they do a
Yeah,
really good job at making us forget that we do, and
exactly.
numbing us with all this,
Exactly.
doom scrolling and stuff. But we got the power.
We do. And what I like in this story is that it's not that they do a direct confrontation with
Right.
Herod,
Right.
right? Like
Because they don't win that, right?
right.
No.
It's the no, we're gonna choose a different way, and we're gonna disobey, but it's through another way. Sort of like you were saying, Ogan, you can't meet force with the same kind of force and expect
No.
real change, but it's using the power that you do have to then how do I live differently in a way that embodies the kind of world I want to see. Um, yeah. So you were talking about the calendar change. And I just learned this. I don't know how it's so obvious. I don't know how I didn't know this before, but September, October, November, December, that means eight,
Right.
7, 8, 9, 10. And yet
Right.
they're
There are
9, 10,
two.
11, 12 because January, February were added later to the calendar. It used to be like a 10-month calendar, and then they added January, February. So now the numbers for those months don't line up correctly. In the original language that they come from. I don't know if that's Roman or Greek or whatever, but
Well,
It's all
Caesar
made up.
added them, didn't he?
It's all made up.
right,
Yeah.
right.
No,
But
he's yeah.
but it is that invitation, regardless of yes, time is a construct and calendars have been looked at
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
ways. But at the same time, when it's like I am writing down a new like this year is not written yet. Now we don't love some of how it started, but it's a whole new year ahead of us, and that does invite some reflection.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Go ahead.
no, good. No, no, sorry.
Well,
I'm
so
still tired.
any other thoughts? We've already hit on this some about what happened this past weekend in Venezuela. I saw this post on Threads which says two things can be true. Maduro was a terrible and brutal dictator, and it would be impossible for Venezuelans not to feel relief at his demise.
Sure.
A, and B, what Trump did is illegal and sets a dangerous precedent.
Absolutely.
But people are having trouble holding that.
Absolutely. And I don't know why,
Yes.
right? I don't know why.
Because
I
what I see
mean,
on the right is, oh boy, the left sure went from no kings to protect the dictator awful quick. And I'm like, who's
no.
saying protect the dictator? It's don't illegally invade countries,
Right.
which is a
And
dictator move.
we have been overturning dictators for years without bombing their country and hurting their citizens. I mean, there's
Well,
always a
and
little bit
also
of
we've done that.
but no, I mean we have done this
But
for centuries.
but if it was done for the express reason of removing a dictator to liberate people, sure, we get on board,
Yeah, then
maybe.
maybe,
But
right? But then
but
is
Again,
Congress on board?
it's never been that. It's never ever been.
No.
and they're not hiding it, right?
No,
This
no,
isn't
no.
this, I mean, okay, I'm going to compare it to this. This isn't an Iraq situation where we're being just lied to, saying, no,
Right.
they're dangerous, they're dangerous, they're dangerous. We have to do this. And those of us going, I don't think they're that dangerous. You don't have proof. Oh, you're against this.
But at least
No,
they
no.
tried to frame it as a
And
security threat.
I mean, they like Colin Powell said, not only, I mean, this is the biggest mistake of his career. And he said that, like, those are his words. And,
Yeah.
but but they tricked Colin Powell. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if, if, if the, what is that title? Chief of the Armed Forces or whatever. Anyway,
The Joint
if
Chiefs.
he's, yeah, the Joint Chiefs, if he's the one out there going, no, 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 this is true, then like, no, Trump's out there. And again, this is the part this 35% of people that will follow him into the whatever, like, I don't understand. He's saying, no, this is for the oil. We're doing it for
Yeah.
the oil.
Yeah. He's, and I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest. There's a certain refreshing take to that.
Yeah.
I
Like,
mean, we all know
sure,
it's for the oil,
sure, it's
right?
evil, and we always knew it was evil, but the fact that he's like weirdly being honest about the fact that no, it was about greed and oil is like, yeah, it's not the truth we want, but at least it's the truth, which is,
Right.
I don't know, like 2% consolation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Half
mean, we
percent.
know we're in the Middle East for the oil too. Like none of that is a secret.
Right.
The both of like where our concern is, which is not a surprise to anybody that listens to this podcast, is the humanitarian effect.
Right.
That's our concern. So yes, bring down a brutal dictator. But what are you doing? Like, first off, how are you helping the people to do that, not coming in and doing it yourself? So, yes, this may be what the people wanted, but they were not consulted in how it was done, what
No.
was done, what the replacement of it is, what's a good idea, et cetera, et cetera.
And I love how like Rubio and others are going out of their way to say, well, they're going to have their own leadership and blah, blah, blah. And then they ask Trump, who's running things? He's like, we are.
And they will have they will have their own leadership as long as that leadership does the right thing, the quote unquote right thing,
Exactly.
which is what we want, right? So it's that same old playbook. So for me, yes, those two seemingly opposing things are true, and it's always again why you do the thing and how you do the thing, you know, and it's not good. It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
And they're already bragging about the other countries they're going to do it with.
Yes.
So I'm like,
yeah, look out, Colombia, Mexico, Greenland, Cuba.
Oh my God.
God.
What the? And
so, okay.
Well, I was just saying, like, this is exactly what Putin is doing to Ukraine.
Absolutely.
We don't support, but when
Absolutely.
you're doing the same thing, you have no leg to stand on to tell other strongmen not to do this.
I'm quoting, we don't support. Like,
right.
Yes.
Well,
you can throw stones.
Fair.
You can throw stones, but if you just out in an open field and not in a glass house, you're not going to hit anybody. So
there you go.
Throw the stones.
There's that clip from Jack Ryan where he talks about Venezuela that's been going around and why it's the most dangerous threat and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I was watching it the other day, like just the clip, and I was like, oh my God, the president watched Jack Ryan and was like, we need to invade Venezuela.
That's amazing.
It felt like that's exactly how it went.
Yes.
You shouldn't throw stones, but if the ballroom's big enough, you're not going to hit the wall.
Oh gosh. And also the nonsense that it was seeing clips of him dancing that put him over the edge. And he's like, no, we're doing this now. Like if there's even a shred of truth to that, I mean, it totally tracks and also shows we are governed by idiots.
Oh my God.
So I have to go back to the turning of the calendar again real quick, but I do admit that at the end of the year, I was like, so does this mean Project 2025 can be over? Because does this mean that that document is done because we're in 2026 now?
Null and void.
There's null and void, no more project. Like you did a lot of it, but you're done. You can't do it anymore because it's now 2026.
I like it.
Yeah. If only.
If only.
I like it.
If only. This is where time being a construct is working against us.
Exactly, right.
All right. So I think we have time for
but
this one.
But it does feel like somebody can convince Trump of is being like, sorry, dude, it's 2026.
Oh, totally.
Right? Like that's not how it works. Oh, it's not how it works.
Well, I mean, he's very good at cognitive, so I think
exactly. I think he's aced all his tests.
And the MRI. You don't forget he aced the MRI.
Yeah, it's perfect.
His weekly MRI.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Which he gets for no reason whatsoever.
So I saw this posted online and I kind of liked it. And I think there's stuff for us to discuss here. And it said religious beliefs to unlearn. And it showed a person, and these were like bubbles around the person. These are things people often hear in spiritual settings, in church, etc. and wondering if you agree with these, if there's any you'd say, no, I'd keep that. So religious beliefs to unlearn, I'll just name them. I cannot trust myself. I am nothing without God. My desires are sinful. I'm broken and need to be saved. There's only one right way to live. I am responsible for saving others. Your spiritual self is all that matters. Do you agree
No
that they should all
notes.
be unlearned? Is there anything you'd save out of this?
No notes. Love it all. No
I
notes.
would I would change the second one, I am nothing without God, because God in this instance is really the church, like the religion itself,
Mm.
and not the spirituality of God. So it's not that I believe that you are nothing. It's just I would what I think they're saying here as God is not like the worldly definition of God, not
Yeah,
the
and it's the
being.
God they've constructed.
Right. Yeah. You are nothing without the God that we tell you who God is,
And I
kind of
think the
thing.
the thread that I see is just this minimizing of yourself, like that you
I
you
agree.
can't
Yeah.
Yeah.
trust
Agency.
yourself.
It's about
You
agency.
can't, like
And
you need the church. You need us.
and let me be very specific about why that's my only asterisk is because I think that there is real power in the worthiness of yourself. For the very like I the
Yes.
sentiment is still right on to me. Um I just that's my only asterisk because I like the worthiness of who you are, your physical needs. I mean, in scripture, we've touched on this today. Like in scripture, the physical needs of the person are important. We have a physical body that needs to be taken care of. Like to say that that doesn't matter is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So is there one here in particular that stands out that you feel like you had to unlearn yourself, or feels particularly you've seen it particularly in certain settings?
Well, the first one and the last one for me, so that I cannot trust myself. So between religion and my mother,
Mm.
like I am still working with that. Like my default setting is I
Mm,
do not trust my ability to make a decision.
Yeah.
And like that is my first response to everything. And I have to cognitively like override that. So there's that one. And then the last one, because I work in a new thought setting, which is
yeah.
very, grounded in spiritual, not religious. The emphasis has always been you just got to take care of your spiritual self.
Hmm.
Like the whole work is inner transformation, spiritual transformation. It's all that matters. The only thing that matters is the absolute, aka God, aka whatever you want to call it, universe. And like our only work is to do that spiritual work, because the implication is if we do the spiritual work, then we will move in the world in a way that you know brings about heaven on earth,
Yeah, everything else takes care of itself.
everything to
Right.
yourself. But that's not true.
Right.
Like you can
Right.
do all the
Right.
spiritual work, you still gotta put some feet on your, you still gotta do things, you still
Yeah.
gotta be a voice in action for justice and equity, because you could go sequester yourself in a cave in the mountains and do the spiritual work and reach enlightenment, but if you're there by yourself, then you made no difference to humanity at
Right.
all. So those the yeah that last one had to really push against that within my own movement, as well, and I still do to this day.
Yeah.
I think for me the ones that really like I um it's I'm broken and need to be saved. Like that especially the first part of it. Like I've done a lot of reconciling work with what salvation and blah blah, right? Like I've done a lot, but like the coming from a place of brokenness is still something I struggle with significantly. Um yeah,
Yeah.
that is
I
that isn't a default assumption.
I hear you. And yeah, for me, also growing up in this Calvinistic Reformed theology
Hmm.
world of total depravity was like a key thing. And you are utterly, thoroughly sinful, broken.
Yep.
You're worthless, actually.
Yep.
And God only loves you because God sees Jesus in you. Like I've
Yes.
literally had that said and taught to me that God only be so grateful
Right.
that God sees Jesus in you, because otherwise,
Yep.
You're worthless. And that is so,
Every instinct you have, everything that you come from is broken, is wrong, is and so you're constantly struggling of like what is right? Like what is
yeah.
the right thing to do? What as if there was a right,
And that just
like
bleeds right
one.
into the you can't trust yourself.
Yep.
Right.
Well, because you're
Yeah.
broken and sinful. So you
Yeah.
got to just trust what the Bible says and how we interpret what the Bible
Yeah.
says.
And again, I can do a lot of the reconciling work with a statement like you can't trust yourself, but that the reason why like it's that brokenness
Yeah,
that is so deep-seated. It
Mhm.
is it is a major crack in my foundation that I like that language is hard
for sure.
of, you know,
For sure.
um anyway, it's it's that message is a lot of you can point to key moments in my life where I made some pretty serious mistakes, and it comes out of believing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Which is interesting because like these messages are supposed to make you, I don't know, live a better life. And they have certainly been the reasons why my life wasn't what it should have been,
Oh,
kind of
absolutely.
thing.
They backfire because they're harmful.
They are harmful, harmful messages. Yep. Yep. And yeah, and I will also say, like raising teenagers right now, like no matter how much whether they came from religious settings or not religious settings, like my kids did not get these messages in religious settings, and they get it from the world, like they
Yeah,
still have these messages.
interesting.
So there is something, it's not just, I just want to say that, like it's not just religion is particularly harmful, I believe, in these messages, but there's something in us that has a hard time believing ourselves, our own
Oh,
worth, our
it's
whatever.
the it's the through thread, the thread line, the through. What am I trying to
The
say?
through line,
The through line. Thank you. Something of
the camel
of
through
That
the eye of a
saltiness,
needle.
the saltiness
it's that
of
Portuguese salt.
exactly of patriarchy and
Sure.
capitalism,
Absolutely.
right? Like
Yep.
like your worth
Your
is
worth is your
dependent
product.
is your
Yep.
productivity, how you show
Yep.
up in the world,
Yep.
right? And patriarchy's through line for women is like what it is, and we're to dominate as men. We're like it's baked in, and the overlap between those systems of oppression and what religion has become and has been for a while,
Hmm.
like it's almost a perfect circle. Like the religion had the impact it did because it basically either piggybacked of or helped create and maintain those systems of oppression. So yeah, it's no accident. I mean, you look at purity
Yep.
culture, especially, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, and I mean, uh, out of our four kids, we had one white male, right? Like who, and actually in the we were like, how do we raise this one white male? Well, he's our main queer child. And so it's like, okay, we all got it. Like we're all coming from this place of this, and how do we navigate this world? He still navigates the world differently than, the rest, just like our white daughter does, just like our black son, like there's all kinds of navigating this, and these messages are there for each and every one of them. And I also believe they're there for straight white men, like young boys too, in a different way, like to be a certain type of masculinity, to be a certain type of, these messages are there for all of us. And I think this goes back to the billionaire conversation of like, we live in a world where you can't win. It is set up to not win. I just,
Yeah.
so this is, I mean, not to sound cliche, but like find your tribe and love them hard,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
And to
that's
realize that you have to change the definition of winning, because
exactly.
winning is not succeeding in the construct of
Yep.
capitalism and patriarchy. It's like you got to step out of those, and back to what I was saying about what's 2026 going to look like. All the things that brought me, joy, pleasure, rest, connection, fulfillment in 2025, do those things again. And those things are probably not going to bring me a whole lot of money, if any at all, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it makes what money I make worthwhile.
Yeah.
and I worry a whole lot less about the money when I'm getting those things, because ultimately that's what a lot of people strive to make all the money for. When I have enough money or make enough money, I can then do the things that make me happy. Then I can relax. I'm like, no, because you so busy striving to get the money, you're gonna burn yourself out before you get there. So
Right.
can you be it without all the other things?
Over the break, Derek was reading the autobiography of or biography, I don't remember which one, of Jim Henson. And
Mm.
he's like, I need to stop reading about people that are like overfunctioners and overworkers and that's how they get success. And I'm like, honey, that you're not going to find that book. Like that's our life. Like it's boring. Like nobody cares.
Nice.
But on this line, I mean, to our point, like I will we every Christmas we watch It's a Wonderful Life and the ending of Clarence, the
Yeah.
book, the Tom
Mhm.
Sawyer book and remember no man is a failure who has friends. And like that's my
Exactly.
definition of winning and that's my definition of success is
Exactly.
not just my friends, but the value of my friends. So that's where we say find your community, love them hard,
Yep.
that's what we can do. So thank you, friends, for tuning into Pub Theology Live. You can show your love for the show by becoming a supporter on Patreon, get access to pre and post show banter and more. Visit patreon.com/ptlive to get started. And a big thank you to our current patrons. You can watch full episodes on YouTube. Our top cities tuning in this week, which were from December, is Seattle, Washington, Council Bluffs, is that Iowa, I
Yep.
think, and
Mhm.
Hong Kong. Man, we made it all the
What?
way. Who's traveling? If you'd like to start a Pup Theology gathering in your town, find support and resources at puptheology.com. Until next time, friends, drink responsibly and keep those conversations flowing.